Hundreds of players from all around the world tried to qualify for the Intel Extreme Masters, and we're down to just 8. Welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, the final round of Season 9, before we head to the World Championship in just 6 weeks' time, where we head to Katowice once more and the Spodek Arena. Welcome to the round of 8. All day long today we'll be bringing you all 4 quarterfinals as we head towards the grand final tomorrow, where we might get a new champion or we might even get a repeat. A couple of those champions are still in the mix. Before we go into the quarterfinals, let's just recap where we were in the round of 16. The 4 groups look like this. We started off 2 days ago with Group A, the defending champion and 3 times champion CJ and his hero winning his group comfortably in the end, but joined by Hyun. Group B, Rain and Classic overcoming Harstem and Czech. In Group C, Life and Soulkey making their way through very easily. And then finally, last night, Group D, PartinG and Maru saw off the threat of the 2 Zergs, Hydra and True, which means this is how the quarterfinals looks. All of the matches played out today, back-to-back in the order of the bracket, and all our best of 5. We'll start things off in a moment with PartinG versus Classic, former teammates of course. Hyun will go head-to-head with his fellow Zerg Life. CJ and his hero up against first-time Intel Extreme Masters attendee Maru, and we'll end with the Soulkey Rain matchup, which is a repeat of the 2013 Hot 6 Cup final. And joining me on the desk for the start of our Protoss versus Protoss day are 3 very good gentlemen indeed. We have Apollo, we have Maynard, and we're joined by a very special guest, Mr. Harstem. I'm glad that you lost the other day, Kevin, because it now means we get to use you on the desk.
Yeah, it is amazing that I lost, isn't it, Paul?
Commiserations on it, but you put up a decent fight. Was you know, you took a map. Are you happy? Are you sad? How do you feel about your Intel Extreme Masters?
I thought I could take at least 1 series. I thought I wasn't going to go through, but I thought I could beat Rain in the first series because I had very well prepared builds. And I think it kind of showed that I out-prepared him in a way, but I wasn't able to take it. Altogether, I guess, 3rd place in a group with Rain, Classic and Czech isn't too bad, so decently happy. Good
stuff, and we'll look forward to how you do through 2015 as well. It'll be interesting to see. I saw a little tweet this morning to the Blizzard people saying that you were going to make BlizzCon this year.
Yeah, I am.
Confidence.
I like it.
Like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, let's talk about PartinG and Classic. We had a discussion yesterday about PartinG and about the fact that he is one of these fantastically charismatic Koreans. We love players that are like that. MC is another. But we also questioned a little bit, both of us did, is that messing around and having fun and partying style going to help him win titles? And he said, yeah, of course, because I'm still going to practice really hard. It showed yesterday with the group. He was actually the winner of Group D, maybe against the odds a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think he'd win the group. And to be honest, in my predictions, I had to go with True anyway because I'm just kind of...
It was the only thing he got wrong in the entire round of 16.
True will be
my
your
love
undoing.
for True, he screwed up my predictions there. But PartinG deserves to be top 8 here. And he should be aiming for, like I said yesterday, a minimum of a top 4 here. But he has run up against a very difficult opponent, but still very winnable.
Absolutely. Kevin, it's a PvP, which is great because you're obviously a Protoss. You can tell us all about it. And, of course, these two, having met each other a little bit in the past, they've only played 4 times in the past. Classic, actually, by the way, winning 3-1 overall head-to-head. What do you think about that? Well, you asked yesterday a different player, but I want to know your thoughts on, do you go and check things before you play? Do you check the stats and think, oh, Christ, I've played him 7 times and I've lost all 7? Do you do that?
I don't really check stats too much. I just feel like I just check his last game and see how he played, whether that be against me or another Protoss, and then I'm like, oh, he played like this, so I'll play like this and see how it goes.
All right.
I'm more of a in-the-moment player, recent form. I don't really care what happened 2 years ago against him.
All right, okay. So, PartinG, what are your thoughts on him? He's a bit of a maverick, isn't he? He's a bit of a showman, but he's a damn good player too.
He practices a lot, though. I think he's one of those guys that goes to a tournament and has fun at the tournament, but he's there to win. And after he wins, that's what he said as well. After I win, I can party, but before that, he plays a lot. He gave me quite a bit of replays when I was playing on Korean server as well, and sometimes I would get like 50 replays, and that was all in one day. So he definitely plays a lot of games. I think he's the favorite in this match, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I agree with him.
What would make you say that?
PartinG, I think, is still more experienced than Classic is, especially at foreign tournaments. This is kind of a different format than GSL is, different than Pro League as well. You don't have as much preparation time, and I feel like PartinG is really good in a setup like this.
I think PartinG's style really matches well against Classic as well. PartinG's super aggressive, he's got multiple different strategies to choose from, whereas Classic, I mean, you played against him, is more of a So I'd like to kind of open up, play safe, 3-gate blink, take his expansion and play to the longer game. But PartinG will exploit that, I think, in these games.
Yeah, I definitely think so. PartinG is a guy that likes to make builds himself. Also, I don't think he didn't play a PvP yet. So if he prepared for this tournament a lot, he's gonna show something new. I'm really sure of that, because he's one of the creative Protosses like SOS that can make stuff himself. There's not a lot of Protosses that actually do that. A player like Rain almost never creates a build himself. But PartinG, we've seen him come out with crazy stuff before, and I would be surprised to see similar builds from him. I think he's going to switch it up every game, because that's what he's known for. And Classic definitely more the 3-gate blink kind of guy, maybe Oracle into blink. He's I think that's the thing that the SKT, well, I guess PartinG also was SKT, but Rain and Classic especially used to do this a lot, just very standard play and blink stalkers.
Okay. What do you make, Maynard, of what his fellow peers said of him yesterday? They said he's very difficult to play against in best of 3, because best of 3, he could do a couple of funky things, like Kev said. He could come up with a funky couple of builds. But in best of 5, the players seem to be more confident against him. What do you make of that?
I mean, he, like everyone said, he's aggressive. Aggressive players generally have a few tricks, like ways to sneak a quick win. You know, thank God for Secret Springs. But there are some sneaky ways for sneaky players to get some games away. And in a best of 3, in a best of 5 scenario, you have to have a lot of tricks, and they need to be very solid. I mean, he's not dealing with some random Protoss here. This is Classic that he's up against. He's a very solid player. He's played PartinG before, obviously. PartinG, however, I mean, he's been doing better against Protosses recently than Classic has been doing. His win rate's a lot better. And like Kevin said, he's an innovator. He's going to bring some new stuff here today. I expect to see something that I haven't seen before pretty shortly.
Okay, sure.
I think that, like Harson said, that if we went to all 5 maps, which I don't think we will, if we went to all 5, we'll see a different strategy and style from PartinG in every single one. I think that the way that Classic's going to be able to win this is if he's able to drag it out to the mid game on an equal level. If he's in the lead, that's good. But if he can take it to an equal level, and the longer the game goes from that point on, I think he's going to become much stronger against PartinG the longer it goes.
All right, let me ask you a different question, and it's sort of related to that. How important is the first map to PartinG to win it?
I don't think it's that important for PartinG to win the first map. I think it's going to be confident for Classic, because I really feel that Classic's going to be entering this feeling like the underdog, because he knows that he's going up against a player who's going to be... Whenever you go up against a player who is very dangerous in the aspect that he's aggressive and has multiple different strategies, you lose map number 1, and then you've only got 2 more left to lose. But if you win it, you can start to feel confident, okay, this is how he's playing against me. I've played a solid game, map number 1, it can continue on like that.
And does it, I mean, if Classic takes the first one, Kevin, maybe it forces PartinG into the cheesier kind of side of his play, and then that's a risky strategy for map 2, and then suddenly he's 2-0 down.
Exactly. If you're the more stable player, the one, well, that Classic is in this case, it always feels very nice to take the first map, because then sometimes you might want to do something cheesy yourself as well. If you're the guy that likes to play safe and solid, you're not going to cheese if you're down 2-0. You're going to cheese if you're up 1-0 or 2-0.
Then you can really start to get exploited then.
Exactly, and that's something that PartinG is really good at. Once he's ahead in a series, to just finish it. We saw this at Home Story Cup a few times against Jaedong, against Lucera, I think he did it, where he just kind of stomped over them. And he just kept on kind of exploiting that they really wanted to play safe, and PartinG would either play very greedy or very aggressive to punish that. So I think the first map is going to be way more important for Classic than it is for PartinG.
I think it's pretty important to bring up too. In the qualifier to this tournament, PartinG lost against Classic 2-1 and also lost against CJ Hero. Where on the flip side of things, Classic beat PartinG and beat CJ Hero, which is kind of interesting to know coming into this, because the qualifiers were only played about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely, beginning of January. So I also wanted to bring up form as well. You and I spoke a little bit about form yesterday. In fact, we've spoken about form a number of times, where you go through a period of almost reflection, that you kind of go into a game knowing that you're not playing well, you're feeling a bit rough, and things aren't clicking the way that you wanted them to happen. And then you go through another part of form where everything you do turns to gold. You decide to do a certain kind of crazy build, and it works, and you're like, oh, well, okay, great. And then you do a cheese, and it works as well. And you go through these periods. PartinG recently seems to be going through that golden period ever since Home Story Cup, really, and during Home Story Cup. His 71.6% win rate on form just recently, okay? So really, against all form of races as well, by the way, 81 wins, 32 losses, so really good. Classic, on the other hand, 22 wins, 21 losses, would suggest that maybe he's had a sticky patch here. And as Kevin rightly pointed out, I think Maynard may have pointed out, his PvP has been a little bit suspect recently as well.
I wouldn't say suspect. I'd just say that he hasn't won as much Protoss games. I mean, one of the players is Casper Protoss, the other one rejoining with the OE Flash Wolves. But I mean, it's tough to say, man. This is going to be a close. I don't think this is going to be a 3-0. I think this is going to be a close best of 5.
Right.
It's the aggressive guy going against the solid guy, basically. It's like, but sometimes the player is so solid that he'll just win anyway because he's played aggressive players before.
We're going to give you a little bit of flavour of the Taiwanese side of the broadcasting. Of course, this weekend we are in Taipei City, and our host is just bringing out the players right now, Classic on stage. We'll shortly be joined by PartinG. We'll switch over and talk about Classic now. I think we've done PartinG to death. We've already mentioned the fact that he's a steady player, he's a relatively safe player, but his form, though it might be a little bit shaky in terms of recent form, 2014, Sean, was actually a very good year for the man from SKT. He top 4 at BlizzCon. No one had him down for that one. And had he not come up against a very informed and inspired MMA, he might have gone all the way. Also, another top 4 in this season and the GSL Championship as well. So, how do you summarise him? Because he's not one of these glamorous kind of Koreans that we talk about, like Innovation or Maru or Life. But yet he's delivered the goods.
It's very funny when you look at Classic as a player. I think he's actually one of the most underrated professional players there is in the scene, to be fair, because he is really good at playing StarCraft. Yet, when everyone cheers for the other guy, like everyone's going to be probably cheering for PartinG here because of his personality. But Classic can deliver the goods. And he's done it and has proved it last year. Yeah, and probably will do this year too.
It's 3 tournaments. You just look back on them. 2014 WCS Global Finals at BlizzCon, 3-1 loss to MMA. As we said, he was inspired in that semi-final. Also in the semi-final, Kesper Cup got knocked out by Zest. No shame in that at all. Zest was in the form of his life during that game. And then won against Su, which I think everyone's won against Su in a GSL final, so that's okay. But nevertheless, he's won a GSL. Now, back in the day, we always used to say, whoever's won a GSL has to be a god. And like you say, he just doesn't get talked about like that. Why?
I don't know.
Is it the same standard kind of form that he has?
Harsing could say this, but I think it's because he shares so many similarities with Rain and with Zest. He's a very similar Protoss. And then everyone looks at those two and then kind of forget about Classic.
Yeah, I think mainly with Rain. He's very, very similar with Rain, especially in PvT and PvZ, I would say. His PvP style is a little bit different. He likes to mix in a little bit more Oracle play than Rain, I would say. But yeah, he's a very similar player, and Rain has been known as the best Protoss for a very long time. Arthos is, of course, one of the guys that always mentions Rain a lot and never really talks about Classic, so I guess that's one of the reasons. But Classic is really, really good.
Yeah, and he's always in the shadow of Rain, basically. That's why he doesn't get that out there.
Okay.
But one question I got to ask you about this series: if you were Classic, and if you are playing Classic's playstyle, which is this defensive Protoss, how do you approach the play PartinG? Is it all going to come down to what you scout, how you scout, and how solid you can be? Is it that simple?
Yeah, I feel like you have to scout every game against PartinG. In-base proxies, you scout the out-base proxies. PartinG is known to do the 2-gate Stalker proxy as well a lot. He can do proxy 2-gates, he can do whatever. So you want to scout everything. You want to check for no proxy oracles, and then just go into your game, you play it safe. Maybe open DTs a few times. It's relatively safe to open DT nowadays and get into the longer game. So
a lot of the pro players back here have said that the longer the game goes, the weaker PartinG becomes, and I think we've seen that in his games as well. He's very strong micro, very good at executing builds. Do you think the longer the game goes, the better it is for Classic as well?
Yeah, I feel like that. When I played against Classic 2 days ago, I felt like his late game was very, very strong. His unit movement, the way he denied pylons, the way he denied everything. I felt the same about Rain, so maybe it's not, my opinion isn't too well informed.
Maybe they're the same person. Maybe that's what the problem is. They're actually the same guy.
Yeah, but he felt really quick responding to drops as well, and just insane late game in general. Good Tempest switch timing. He felt like he had his timings down very, very well in the late game.
Okay, there's the big boy.
Oh, the big boy.
There is the pose. That's going to become a meme very quickly. It really is going to become a thing.
Very common pose this weekend.
Yes, it has been a very common pose. I also want to talk about the team dynamics involved in this matchup. Both of these used to be on. I mean, if we were 12 months ago at the same tournament, we'd be talking about the fact that SK Telecom had 4 players in the quarterfinals. They have 2 this time because obviously Rain's left and he's moved on, and obviously PartinG has moved on to pastures new as well. But nevertheless, those SK roots are still there, aren't they? They're still, those bonds of friendship and playing and understanding how each other plays is still going to have a part in this. And then the other dynamic I want to talk about is the fact that to be fairly sensitive with this, but League of Legends this weekend was won by Yoey Flash Wolves. Now, I just happen to think, PartinG playing for the same team, there might be something going on here.
Yeah.
Because we're on home territory for them. They've won one tournament. Can they win the StarCraft as well? Even though he's Korean.
Sure it's
he's
related
like
at
an
all.
he's an honorary member of Taipei City this weekend, I think.
I don't even think it's slightly related, Paul.
All right, maybe I'm just
Sorry to
clutching at
say.
straws.
I think you might be.
Shut down.
I think you might be.
Maynard, shut me
I
down
think that's a
again.
well and truly 100%, 11 out of 10
Really?
straw clutch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Damn it. Been called out. Been called out by the Maynard. What can I do? Just got to go with it. All right, let's go back to the SK link then.
The SK link?
Yeah.
To be honest,
No, that's relevant, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
because they're going to know each other. They know each
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
plays.
As much as these two know each other, looking at the bracket of the top 8, I think every single one of these players knows each other inside
Yes.
out. Because they play so much in Pro League, they
Yep.
play in the Star League GSL, they've known each other, they've been on the same team. There's 4 old SK and current SK Telecom players, and then you've got the middle of the bracket players too. I think this is just going to be a very mind-heavy, knowing each other's style kind of day today and
Yeah.
tomorrow too.
Does that mean we get some classic games, or does it mean we might get some KG games?
I think the games from this period are actually going to be very high level,
Yeah.
very good. And to be
Oh,
honest, at this level, I think we're going to see longer games too, because the
Okay.
rest of the tournament's been pretty short, pretty
Yeah.
aggressive. But I think these games are actually going to take a while.
Yeah, yesterday was super quick. We had 10 2-0s in a row yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate because,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a StarCraft fan and commentator, but a fan first, and the more games of StarCraft, the better for me. I want 3-2, 3-2 all day today.
Absolutely.
But
I'm with
what are you
you.
going to do, man? I mean, at least they were very high level. Like this round of 8 is a dream GSL. I would expect this round of 8 in the GSL or NSSL final. This is about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the fans are just really spoiled, and this round of 8 is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I exactly my feelings. I finished last night and walked away from here. I was like,
Okay.
it's going to be an honour to be able to work on a show where I can talk about these 8 guys in a round of 8. It could grace any World Championship final, any GSL final. I think
100%,
no one
absolutely.
could argue with any of that. So
Yep.
fantastic to have those. And thank you very much for your comments. Just one last thing, of course. Have to put you on the spot and get your predictions. So we'll start with Kevin. What do we think? Classic or PartinG?
PartinG.
Okay.
I'm going to favour PartinG as well, but I think 3-2.
All right.
Absolutely PartinG.
Wow, 100% PartinG. Okay. Let's head over to our commentator's desk where another Protoss of legend awaits us. He is, of course, a man who already has his name on the World Championship trophy, and I'm not talking about Kalaris. Enjoy. Our first game is Classic versus PartinG.
What a round of 8, what a series to start the day here on the second final day. I'm quite not the legend, of course, unfortunately, but it's going to be PartinG versus Classic to find out who moves on into the round of 4. And yes, we have Pod here, who's going to be guiding us through some PvP.
Yeah, and I mean, these two guys, they are definitely very high up there in terms of being good in mirror matches, but as we see Classic here on our screen, it's time to jump into the first game, Kailaris, which is going to be played on Overgrowth.
Yep, can't wait. It's going to be good. Best of 5 here from now on to find out who's going to be one of our Intel Extreme Masters champions, Classic and PartinG, facing off in our first game. Overgrowth is our map. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our blue Protoss. Representing SK Telecom T1, it is Classic. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, of course, it's our red Protoss. It is PartinG, representing Yoey Flash Wolves.
If by in the bottom left-hand corner you mean his main base, yes, because that's not where the attention is going to be focused here. I was actually going to talk about this headed into this series. Classic is the one guy that almost in every single series, be it best of 5, best of 3, sometimes even best of 1 in mirror, has been busting out some proxies here and there. Now PartinG, in the first game, he wants to throw Classic off his game already by using basically one of the builds that you will sometimes see Classic do, but actually Classic is more of a single gateway proxy, whereas right now it looks like PartinG, it's gonna be a double gateway Stalker by the look of things. If he goes for another, okay, no, he starts to gas before, so.
Well, I mean, in the end, everyone was expecting this series to start off in a bit more of a fiery way compared to how we saw the previous PvPs play out in the past couple of rounds. So this for PartinG is absolutely down to a T what he is likely to do. Classic should be a little bit careful and a little bit wary as to what he's normally going to do.
The location is great, because even if PartinG checks inside of checks inside of his main and then natural, there is no way you would check that far. And yeah, this is going to be the double gateway I think one Zealot into double Stalker with a pylon on the ramp to be able to spot. And let's see. He might even check on a little bit on the left, but there is no way it's gonna go that far. I really don't think that he will. See? Nobody ever checks this far because nobody will proxy there. And PartinG knew that. That's why he go for that. And now Classic, even though he's going for a scout behind this, it's really gonna be difficult for him to hold this. But he's actually getting a Zealot, which is definitely gonna help in the defense of this. But not having a second gateway already started, it's gonna be so hard, especially with PartinG. As good as he is with the Templar micro, he's also, in my opinion, one of the best Stalker people that I can think of in terms of micro.
Yeah, very, very strong. The Zealot's already going to be entering the base, so he already knows now with the probe also entering the base on the other side. Seeing the gas as well, he has a good idea of what's going to be following this Zealot up, so he needs to be able to accommodate for that. He's already got his mothership on the way, but really needs to make sure he's not being able to take too much damage this early on. He actually killed his own probe to get the Stalker being produced there. Very, very small thing by Classic as he only had that pylon finishing up.
And PartinG does the same here. Very intelligent play. Now 2 Stalkers, 1 Zealot and 1 probe against no Stalker left or yet for Classic here. Classic cannot take too much damage on the Mothership Core. If he loses that Mothership Core, he's dead. If he loses too many, even the Stalker that's coming out, he will be in so much trouble.
That's why the probes have to come off the line here. That Mothership Core needs to stay alive, but likewise so does that Stalker. Again, with Classic's little moves, small things, trying to help out. Getting a good surround on that Zealot. He's lost about 5 workers during all of this, but the Stalkers have been pushed back off the high ground predominantly.
Yeah. A single micro mistake costs you the game here, and that goes both ways as well. But I feel like the pressure is more on PartinG. PartinG has to do the damage, even though Classic's the one being attacked. PartinG's taking so much damage now on his Stalkers.
Yeah, we're seeing Classic gather Stalkers himself. He's going to have Photon Overcharge pretty soon. It's about 10 seconds away.
Yeah, 4 Stalkers. This is now for PartinG to make something happen. Yes.
He's going to have to do something right here, right now. Get a Stalker, get a few more probes, get something. Because if he doesn't, again, Photon Overcharge is going to give him so much room in his base as Classic. And another Stalker pops out. The firepower, he does bring down 1 Stalker, but another one is going to die in turn for that. And Photon Overcharge is now ready and good to go. But Classic doesn't necessarily have to throw it down just yet. He can now, because he is so close.
Yeah, and Classic, he started Warp Gates. That means he's going to be able to start making gateways here, and maybe Chronoboost that as well. In which case, I mean, if you have 3 gates and Warp Gates, it's completely over. You warp enough units to hold, and you've won the game. PartinG is completely all in. He never started Warp Gates. He only made Stalkers. He decided to go completely all in with this, and because of the faraway location, even though this is a really strong proxy, the Stalkers take so long time to go across the map. So as soon as that Photon Overcharge ends, he's gonna wanna look to get in there. But Classic with the surround.
Yeah, coming in from the top just to try and deny them from actually getting down the ramp or anything like that. With these probes, actually getting on top of one of the Stalkers already, killing that off. The Stalkers of Classic, micro back, not losing that last one, but he does manage to end up falling at the very end.
PartinG's micro has been so sick, he saved 2 Stalkers in red hit points, and now Classic's under pressure. He's not even mining anymore.
Still probes off the line though. Some of those Stalkers are very low. The Mothership Core did end up falling. He's going to try and get on top of this Stalker, and he manages to get it. There's not many units left here for Classic at all. All he has is probes to try and fend this off. Look how low some of those Stalkers are for PartinG. It was looking difficult, and it might still be. These probes trying to shut it down, but he's killed so much off that PartinG should be able to do massive. He's even dancing the Stalkers to round this out, and there's very little left here for Classic. There you go, GG. Game number 1 goes to PartinG. It was looking a little bit sketchy there with the Photon Overcharge in the defense, but PartinG breathed a sigh of relief and is able to make their aggression work out. Very, very well played. Great control by PartinG there at the end. Great control.
This goes to show that even though the proxy was pretty far away from even the natural of Classic, in this situation you cannot go for a Warp Gate. You need to see it early, or you need to at least start an additional gateway to get more and more Stalkers. And I mean, just very good execution by PartinG overall here. And Classic, good micro, but just not good decision, I guess, with going for the Warp Gate and not the additional gateway instead.
Well, we won't delay any further. We're just going to go to a short commercial break, and then when we're back, we're going to have game number 2 between PartinG and Classic. Don't go anywhere. right, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters here in Taipei as we get into game number 2 between Classic and PartinG. And game number 1 was as hectic as I was expecting to start out in the
pretty
series.
rocky start.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
We can all agree on that.
Well, PartinG, again, breathe a sigh of relief after that. It was quite close. His Stalkers were very, very weak, but he was able to keep them alive, able to micro well in those tense situations.
Giving us a look here.
Classic, though, on the other hand, now has to recuperate these losses. 1 game down in this best of 5. It's not by no means over at any point after just 1 loss, though, in a best of 5.
Yeah, usually Classic is on the other end of that scenario. He's doing proxying a bunch. With a different proxy, though, usually. He likes the 1 gates a lot better. I wonder, are we going to see more proxies, and how many, from who, on what map? Our next map is going to be Vanny Research Station. I really feel like the chances we're going to see another proxy on this map are kind of low. Then again, you know, the mind games have already begun, and they've begun very early in this series.
Yeah, we've already seen Vanny Research Station in PvP with Mr. Harstam, actually, going up against Classic and also Rain.
The 8-8s.
And playing some extremely impressive builds.
Harstam actually revolutionized PvP on that map.
On Secret Springs. Oh, yes, on Secret Springs. That was some fun stuff. But now let's get into it then. Game number 2 on the way between Classic and PartinG. As PartinG is 1-0 up at the moment against his former teammate, looking to advance on to the round of 4. And again, what a round of 8 we have in general.
Oh my God.
And I did say during the break, Todd.
They will meet. They will maybe meet.
Oh no. I did say during the break, but...
Introduce the probes.
I mean, introduce the probes. Well, the probe over to the left-hand side is, of course, PartinG's. Whilst the probe going down to the bottom right is, of course, Classic's. So, yeah. Is this whole series just going to play out like this?
This is amazing. PartinG's proxy is going to be quite far once again. I think...
All right, wait, Todd, wait. How has this... You have probably been in this situation at least once.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
How does this play out? Because
it really depends whether they pick the same proxy or not.
Okay.
Like I said before, Classic is a big fan of the 1 gateway 1, and PartinG, this is actually a 9 gateway.
Uh-oh.
PartinG, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Usually you almost always get
it's just going to be
10
double
like this.
gateway zealots.
For Classic, it's the standard 1 gateway proxy with which he goes double zealot and then stalker, then warp gate and then triple gate. But PartinG, gates 9 and 9.
Does Classic even get to his proxy being coming to full fruition before PartinG's does damage?
He might be able. It's all about getting 1 or 2 stalkers out. If you get 2 stalkers out, there can be
forever.
Any amount of zealots out.
Yeah.
If you come back home before you're eliminated, which is usually the case, you're able to defend. But looking at the game now and how it is, this could be very close. Like, I really can't tell right now who's ahead. Like, zealots are gonna come out, head for Classic's main, and it's really gonna be about whether he can get stalkers out or not, and how many of them. If he can get 1 out, I don't think he wins.
Yeah.
If he gets 2 or more outs, I think he has a very good chance of winning.
Well, so a lot of chrono boost going into all of the gateways across these 3 gates, and this is going to be very, very tense as PartinG really needs to get in there and start doing damage as quickly as possible, whilst Classic has his Cybernetics core on the way.
I mean, Classic's economy is going to get wrecked, but if he can mine enough money and gas before...
well, he's got the gas.
And just chrono boost, say, you know, a first and second stalker.
And Classic now realizes the bit of peril that he's in. He's trying to mine as much as possible on that right-hand side, and he will be able to get 150 minerals pretty soon here. But he's going to start working on the pylon. I'm not... Will that actually supply block him? If he gets supply blocked and he can't throw in any pylons, but that might work.
He has enough money. Yeah, he has enough money to remake a pylon elsewhere.
And he's already started Stalker anyway. There's 1 Stalker on the way.
He might have queued another one, but I'm not sure. We're going to see in a second when that first one finishes. I didn't see exactly how much gas he had mined. And with the Stalkers, if you get 2, I really think that you win here as Classic. I don't think he queued another one, so it's going to be a single Stalker. This is going to be tough.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult.
With just 1 Stalker,
there's 5 probes out right now, so not too much to be able to try and surround that Stalker if that were to come along anyway. But this Nexus is being worked on, as is the one over on PartinG's side of the map as well.
going back home and defending is the right move here because he has a lot of probes to work with as well.
Exactly. So all he has to do is dance.
Yeah. I mean, PartinG's not mining anymore. He's trying to hide down on the map with some Zealots. I think PartinG might just try to eliminate Classic here.
It's going to take a little while, I think. He's got 6 Zealots, though.
Yeah.
6 Zealots on the map. That's a lot of firepower he has available to him.
Right now, I think Classic's definitely winning, and PartinG has to make something happen. I think he knows that. He's going to want to try and look for a surround with the Zealots and probes.
Yeah.
And look, he's coming in from behind now.
Oh, smart by Classic to move that Stalker away from the ramp, because if he had done, he may have got surrounded very, very easily. He needs to block himself out here. He needs to make sure his probes are blocking him in as well. He needs to keep this Stalker alive. He's lost a lot of probes to keep him in this.
This Stalker is the one unit that's going to win the game here for Classic. That's the chosen one. If he gets it surrounded, he loses the game.
Yeah.
I really don't think that PartinG can eliminate Classic before Classic is going to kill all of those units, especially since there is a gateway and a pylon on the map. And Classic, he even had the money to make one more Zealot on the map. So that's one extra unit that he's going to be able to get and helping. Now the 2 Zealots that were across the map.
The surround! He needs to get there with the Zealot to be able to keep blocking again! And he might be able to! He's going to do it! He gets the Stalker! I can't believe it! He got the Stalker!
You had one job, Classic, you had one job!
He got it!
PartinG gets the...
Why would you let that happen? He had to just
looking.
babysit the Stalker. The only one chance for him to properly win this, and now it's 3 Zealots against 4 and 5 probes. Unbelievable!
It was so out of the question for me that this was ever going to happen that I didn't even look. And at this point, I mean, Classic might try to base trade. I don't think he's going to try to defend, but with enough Zealots and probes to fight this, PartinG, there's no way he's going to lose.
He's trying to position it so that the Zealots can only come in on one small choke here unless they go all the way around.
These are actually PartinG's last building, but I mean 3 Zealots is going to take like half an hour to kill this
He
game.
could just bring the probes around and, well, I mean...
Even that Zealot in the main of Classic, he needs to bring that back, but I guess he's just going to go for the surround. Oh!
Gonna try and find a place to isolate one of those Zealots. Classic is trying to play this as smart as he can, considering the tools available to him, but this is so tense. PartinG can get a great surround here though. He has everything available. One probe's going to end up falling. 2 Zealots now going for the combat as well. It's actually really well isolated there for Classic, getting one of the Zealots and pulling back.
He really made the most of the situation. And 3 Zealots against 3 Zealots and 4 probes? Zealots kiting Zealots? Is this real life?
You've got to try. You've got to try. He gets another probe there, but these Zealots are going very, very low, and he's going to lose them all. There you go, GG. PartinG takes game number 2. The Stalker dying off. The surround, as Classic allows it to die, shakes his head in disbelief here in game number 2. And I can barely breathe. Wow. Classic, look at the dejected look on his face right now.
He had one job. If you will resume that game from replay, at that moment where he had the Stalker down the ramp 10 times, I think he might actually not ever lose it if they play this again. But in this one game that they played now, the one game that counts, he gets surrounded and loses the Stalker and loses the game because of it. This is unbelievable. I can't believe that just happened.
Amazing, amazing occurrences there in game 2, and PartinG now is 2-0 up against Classic. Ain't nothing to PartinG, apparently. Ain't nothing. Wow.
The thug life, man. He represents the thug life.
The comparison of their faces as they switch from camera to camera. Classic is so demoralized right now, considering how that played out.
I mean, I would be as well. Like, getting that surround on the Stalker, like, I've had some big throws myself, but this was next level.
Is he defeated? Is he defeated in himself? Because look at that face. Classic has to pull it together. Classic has to pull it together here. He has to win 3 games in a row now in this best of 5, but that was brutal.
This is like, this face right here can, so many memes, so many captions are possible to express the distress that Classic is experiencing right now. This is, I can't believe that just happened.
The comparison, I can't get over it. I actually can't get over it.
They're actually chatting and PartinG is laughing the whole time in the chat too. They're talking about the game and all that happens.
PartinG's like free money. I mean, wow. All right, game number 3. Let's reset the...
You know what's funny? I said that on Vanny, I didn't think we would get any proxies.
Dude, I said it in the break, man. I was like, what if it happens again? But a little bit different, of course. Show me the money, PartinG. Show me the money. He is going. One more game for him to move on to the round of 8 in just
Find the words, Kailaris.
There are no words anymore. There are no words.
Catalina, okay. Now we are not going to see a proxy.
Yeah.
Actually,
we shouldn't
one
do.
chance out of 2 if you proxy one of the base.
Yeah, I guess so. You should put it in the middle, screw it. And,
No, I really don't think we're going to see a proxy here, and or at least in terms of early on gateways and all that. But man, Classic, to get back into this, he needs to forget about those games. At least learn from them. On Catalina, it's not going to matter because you can't really proxy. It's a 3-player map. You don't know where your opponent begins. Needs to take this to a longer game, you know, through diligent scouting. But yeah, again, on Catalina, not really going to be the case. We should at least get one normal game out of this series, which is definitely nice. I mean, as entertaining as those 2 proxies just were, I want to see a little bit of a longer game out of these 2, see what they can do with some Blink Stalkers, with some Stargate play maybe here and there, maybe some DTs in the mix. Never hurt anybody, except the people that played against them.
Yeah, that's not exactly the best end of it to be on, that's for sure. But now, Game 3 is loading up. PartinG 2-0 up. Classic needs to get his head back in the game, otherwise he is gone. Because right now, he's not looking so fresh. He's not looking so great. He really had a big blow strike him there in game number 2. Let's get into it. Game 3 now on Catalina as PartinG looking good. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner. It is our blue Protoss. It is Classic for SK Telecom. And up to the top, it's our red Protoss. 1 game away from the round of 4. It is PartinG for Yowie Flash Wolves.
Already did very well in the League of Legends tournament, but that's totally unrelated, apparently.
According to Maynard, yeah. I mean, the blessing of Yowie Flash Wolves here at Taipei are looking strong so far, but we'll see if it can continue.
I've talked a little bit about this earlier when we had some PvPs on this map. Personally, I'm a big fan of a Stargate into Blink. We've seen a lot of Blink play in general, you know, really coming back no matter what the matchup. Blink Stalkers are the shizzle in StarCraft 2 for Protoss, and
you could say that.
Against Zerg, Terran, and Protoss, using them is basically never wrong. Well, I guess in PvP in late game, but we're not gonna nitpick
unless you've got really bad micro, but not many of these players have that. They are very good with it.
PartinG actually, like, it's funny because we talk about the people who have the best control overall, but never really about people who have the best control of one unit, you know? So like, for example, some players are very good at Stargate, or some people really like Blink Stalkers. We never say this guy is just the best Blink Stalker player too often. And PartinG, to me, with Stalkers or Blink Stalkers in general, he's one of the best. Like his Stalker micro, both in particular, you know, early on without Blink, I'm talking, against Terran and Protoss, is insane. Like he never gets caught. He always makes the most of all the situations. And with Blink, we've seen him achieve wonders. So here going up against a Classic who's supposedly very good in PvP, but has been shaken so much by the first 2 games. Just going for a solid game and making sure he doesn't get surprised here and there. PartinG will have a very good shot at just closing out the series.
His Classic Cybernetics core was a little way earlier here than PartinG's. Did he throw down an earlier gateway during all of that? I think he did, right?
Maybe just by a little, but I think it's PartinG's gas mining. Maybe that was ahead, because you can see he's a little bit ahead in gas mines. So I think he went for 3+3 earlier, in which case you have less money for the cybernetics core when you want to throw it down.
So a small delay. Small delay there.
Which doesn't really come into play. Like a small delay is never that important. Like you see they start warp gate 6 seconds apart, I think.
Stalker on the way for Classic, and he's also getting a second gateway as well, so there is potential for him to rush up to quite a few Stalkers here. Probe's going to get in though and have a little look around before any Stalker does end up popping. So he'll get to see everything he needs to for now.
The fact that Classic went for double gateway, I wonder if he wants to go for something like a pressure with a bunch of Stalkers, or if it's going to be for defensive. That's my first question. PartinG having only 1, I was thinking Stargate, and here it is. Gonna go for the Stargate. Twilight for Classic. Now it's gonna be interesting for PartinG to see the follow-up from this. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an Oracle. You almost never go for Phoenixes anymore in PvP like this, in this situation. So usually it's an Oracle into Blink. But with this guy, you never know. You know, could be a Robo behind this. I really think that Blink, though, is by far the best follow-up you can go for.
Yeah, I think after also the 2-gate opener, Twilight Council is more likely than a Stargate opener here, in terms of what Classic has built towards. So PartinG might be able to read into that a little bit more. Oh, but that being said, Classic Stalker actually got in and can have a little look around here.
Oh,
he doesn't want to go too far, though.
Yeah, he could get sniped here. 2 Stalkers of PartinG. Actually going to go for the Mothership Core to force the recall instead of losing some probes that across the map. PartinG's Mothership Core across the map is ready.
He doesn't have energy for recall. He's going to lose it.
Oh my god.
He was 2 energy off for energy for recall, and well, PartinG can technically recall here, so he's fine.
Yeah.
But losing the Mothership Core that early on, that's a lot of gas just wasted and down the drain.
Nothing's going Classic's way. I mean, even though he killed 2 probes, it's really not that much early on in a game like this. 2 probes difference, you know, you just remake them, you already kind of have the minimum saturation.
But also now, he has to play really defensive, because I don't know if he did see the Stargate, but he doesn't have Photon Overcharge because no Mothership Core. So his Stalkers have to sit back at home for a long, long time here whilst replenishing his position.
The thing is, when you open Blink and 3 gates like this, you're going to have enough Stalkers to defend against air units anyway, so he's not... Classic's not unhappy with the situation. Okay, maybe he's a little bit, because he lost 3 probes here, but he's not in a bad situation by all means. You know, going for Blink here is definitely nice, gives him a lot of initiative. He can go on the pressure, on the offensive if he wants to, and leave enough Stalkers back at home to defend. He can defend very nicely against the Stargate units, but man, I can't believe PartinG still finds a hole, you know, in that middle line to do some aggression. Oh, wow. Okay, as I say that, I give him praise and he loses the Oracle. But it's okay because he has another one.
Yeah, praise to Classic though for being able to catch that off as he did, which was
Classic
nice.
is taking a gamble. He's saying there is almost no way he's going to have another Oracle, so he's moving out right now. If that Oracle flies into his mineral line, Classic is going to be in so much trouble.
Imagine if he'd have kept the Mothership Core from before, he probably would have had an extra 100 energy off the back of having to recall home, but now he doesn't. He warps in 2 Stalkers though at home to keep himself a little bit alive during all of this, but there is a pylon at the front that has been thrown down. PartinG saw this pretty early on, but it's 7 Stalkers to 2 currently. The sentries are really going to have to buy some time.
Okay, this is a little bit dangerous here. I guess Classic doesn't have the critical mass of Stalkers that he could just blink up and do a ton of damage. There is an Immortal halfway through done. No Photon Overcharge yet, but I really think that PartinG should be alright. And at the same time across the map, keep on dealing some damage here and there with the Oracle. So I still like PartinG's position, but Classic has a lot of initiative with the Blink Stalkers. And see, he trades shields for some sentries.
That's nice, very nicely done. Bringing those down to be good, but at the same time now Immortal popped, so that does recuperate that position a little bit, especially since he has Zealots to be able to push that front line of Stalkers back whilst that Immortal does damage.
I really like that pylon, by the way, on the map for PartinG. On the left-hand side, a lot of capability to, you know, to warp in offensive Zealots, send any mineral land, just be annoying overall. Classic with the triple sentry.
Yeah, could force field really nicely here. If he seals them off behind the Nexus, but actually doesn't land that second force field as well as he would like to. Does catch a lot of the Stalkers.
Oh, the Oracle. The Oracle across the map is waiting for probes to be transferred. Nothing's being transferred yet. He's hunting. He's on the hunt.
25 to 26 workers, catches that one, so it's evening things up, and the double probe production continues from both of these Nexi.
Second Immortal is out now. Observer is going to be made here for PartinG, who had another sentry to his arsenal. That's mostly for the scout, you know. Expansion against expansion like this, you always go for up to 3 sentries for the hallucinations that you can basically keep on sending across the map to get a good scout. And that single Oracle being basically still alive, being saved by PartinG, not committing to aggression with it. It's preventing Classic from mining on his natural.
Really wants to go for this one Immortal at the front. He did isolate it with a few force fields, killed off the Zealots and gets one of them, which is a nice pickup.
The Stalker count is actually very scary. Having lost that second Immortal means that there is not only one, the second one is on the way. Classic might just commit to a massive attack here. He actually has a sentry with Guardian Shield as well. He gets some Zealots to tank, and this is looking pretty dangerous here. He does have a... Actually, no, there's no Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, and the windows was very tight there. Second Immortal just about to pop.
No more force fields, and most of all, no more Guardian Shield here for PartinG. So this is very dangerous here. I think Classic's gonna keep on being aggressive. He has to do more damage. If he sits back, if he pulls back, he's gonna be in trouble.
And actually, the Oracle back at home threw down a Revelation during all of that. More force fields trying to isolate the Immortal. He's trying to microwave back, but he doesn't get it in the end. Does end up falling.
Oh, the Mothership Core.
Needs to make sure that
energy.
Oh god, he really needed Photon Overcharge as well. Classic with this Blink Stalker pressure has done so much, and again keeps isolating these Immortals with the force fields, pushing them into really uncomfortable positions.
Two Immortals now are going to be targeted a little bit. Oh, I disagree with here with the choice of warping in a sentry. It's really not going to help that much against this. I guess if he gets 2 and gets like good force fields, but the thing is there is Blink anyway, and all Classic's doing is blinking back.
Oh, he's going to lose his Oracle as well. That was the linchpin of him doing something on the other side of the map, because right now, all of Classic's attention can be focused on the front. He knows he can move across with those Stalkers, so that was really, really a big blow there to PartinG, as he needs to keep these Immortals alive again. The Zealots at the front doing a little bit of damage, but it's 3 Immortals now against 12s. It's getting a little bit harder for Classic to really break up this ramp.
Against 3 Immortals is going to be another story to keep on attacking into this. And Classic back at home, though. He took the gamble of basically saying, I killed 2 Oracles, you're not going to make a 3rd one probably, so I'm just going to move out with the Stalkers.
Those Stalkers are going to take a lot of damage. He actually brings down one of the Immortals at the front, though. That was nice focus fire from the Stalkers to bring that down without losing too many of the Stalkers in return.
This is not cost effective right now. He should have pulled
the Zealots are doing a lot up front. Zealots were doing quite a bit. Gets another Stalker on the retreat out as well.
Oh, and PartinG knows that Classic brought the Stalkers that he had in his main. What does he do? He starts an Oracle. He knows that if he can get that across the map, there's not only gonna be no Stalkers, but also no Photon Overcharge to help against it.
Well, another Immortal ends up falling, keeps getting blocked by some of his own units, but there's still too many Stalkers. Actually, there's not enough Stalkers here for Classic anymore to really do anything.
You know, it's so crazy how aggressive Classic has been, and he's completely neglected Robo. He never made a Robo at all. And now he has double additional gateway. He's been making probes continuously, so he could just go into something like charge and loss of charge out, but at the same time, he could just keep on warping a lot of Stalkers and keep on being aggressive. But instead of that, he chooses to just go home, realizing that there may be an Oracle on the way.
Well, he lost too much as well. He lost too much at the front for it to continue that on. That was really difficult. So now PartinG has found stability, and he's going to try and cause a little bit of instability here from Classic, who will lose a few more probes to these Oracles. This one's just on a suicide mission. Gets 6 or 7 in the process, so
totally
20 have fallen down.
Same worker count, by the way, right now. 38 to 38. Forge was started exactly at the same time. And Classic, he's just going to add his Robo now. Already having his Robo, PartinG can start the Robo Bay to start taking him to Colossus. And overall, I think I like PartinG's position a little bit better, just because Classic is mostly relying on Blink Stalkers right now, and there is Immortals to counter those in a potential fight.
Yeah, it's amazing how this game will continue on past the 15-minute mark now, after the game was really on a razor's edge. So, Robo Bay going down, going to try and transition on, as you said, to those Colossi.
Another Oracle being made. It's so funny that you know, there is always that one mind game of saying, I've already killed enough Oracles, he's not going to make one more. And PartinG says, you know what, I'm just going to make one every single time. He traded the last one for 8 probes. That was totally worth it.
Yeah, that's a lot of Stalkers and Sentries at the front here for Classic, though.
PartinG is actually out of position with the Immortals down the front. Oh my god!
He's going to lose at least one of those, as he does get caught off quite nicely. Photon Overcharge is here. Maybe they'll be able to deny a little bit, but the blink forwards to get the second Immortal. And now there's not very many gateway units left here. 23's army supply against 31. The Stalkers need to do as much as they can, but still, Photon Overcharge provides us ample firepower to push this back.
This was so worth it here for Classic. Just go up the ramp, trade a few units here and there for 2 Immortals. Now, all of a sudden, there is no Immortals. And PartinG, when he would like to be making Colossus, he can't. He has to replenish that Immortal count. You can't just go straight to Colossus against that many Blink Stalkers. You're going to have no mobility and you're not going to be able to counter those units.
Yeah, Classic on top of things at the back at home, able to shut that little bit of harassment down, and now he has a lot of potential to shut off another Immortal that somehow does not escape up that ramp, just barely able to squeeze out of there, and now ends up falling. There's still not that many gateway units. No Photon Overcharge for another 3 seconds. Pulls the probes off the line to try and push this back.
Photon Overcharge.
He really needs to throw it down. There we go. We're actually focusing down some of these sentries. Another Immortal ends up popping, but a blink straight onto it again to bring that down. That ends up falling, and Classic now, with the Stalker numbers, can just walk up the ramp. Does he have enough energy for another force field? He could, well, he's in a prime position to do a lot of damage. More probes still come off the line in the main base. Maybe this was a little bit overzealous. He's actually going to lose quite a few of these.
He actually can't get the Robo here, so I mean, as good as that was, PartinG had already started remaking a Robo. He cancels it upon realizing that one's not going to die, at least not for now. And now all of a sudden he has one Immortal that came out just right behind all of this action.
And he's ahead in workers. That Oracle got a few whilst all of that was going on.
It's still alive, by the way, the Oracle.
Yeah, it's still alive. 44 workers to 37. These Stalkers still need to do quite a bit here. They're not going to be able to isolate that Immortal at the back, as PartinG is babysitting that one a little bit better.
Photon Overcharge is out now, and PartinG is very, very far away from another one. So he's just going to add additional gateways. I think he realized that Classic's going to need so much to this aggression, and not taking at all in the meantime back at home.
Force
field here will go a long way to help holding this.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have one more.
Immortal was caught off at the back there. That actually does find its way around the force field, as well as the second Immortal coming along. Probes are dying on both sides, as These guys just never want to stop fighting. They're going to break my voice.
This is a slugfest. Units are dying everywhere. 10 probes and 8 probes just died.
How many workers are we at? We're
36
at 36
to 35. They're trading evenly, but PartinG's ahead on supply
We're
now.
about to hit 20 minutes. He's trying to go for the robo again, but these two Immortals are going to get a lot of free damage off. If he gets
the Observer.
He got the Observer?
Yeah, he got the Observer Classic. And there isn't another one.
There's no opportunity, though, to... Oh, yeah, so he can't actually start blinking up there.
This is what's great here for PartinG. This was great. Getting the Observer is going to give him so much momentum. And look at this, Classic is warping back at home now. The aggression has ended. He's been defended, even though he was doing good for some time. He pushed around some Immortals very nicely. It's not been enough.
How is he going to deal with this counterattack, Todd? He has very little to his name.
Well, the thing is, PartinG doesn't have blink. If Classic stands up the ramp with sentries, it's only a double force field ramp. He should be able to hold quite comfortably.
Well, yeah, he has to warp in extra sentries, which is taking away from his transition later on, I guess.
If PartinG tries to go up the ramp, he's going to get crushed.
Yeah,
like, he's definitely not going to be cost effective.
Yeah. Not a good idea to really do anything there. The Immortal's leading the charge. He's actually being a little bit, once again, a bit overzealous. And when Immortal gets caught at the front again, there's a lot of Zealots coming in. He actually has the potential to throw down another force field, I think, here, as the Immortal comes out for Classic to try and aid this situation. But Classic. Zealots at the front are able to push forwards and tank a little bit of this damage. He has so much force. PartinG has to go. He can't continue doing this.
Yeah. This is one of the few ways he can actually throw the game. And again, I'm the expert, so I'm a little bit surprised that he's attacking this much. He's still going to go for it. There's sentries ready. Oh, I think he's baiting force fields. I think by now he's changed his mind. He doesn't want to attack. He just wants to bait force field. Look at this. He's getting a Colossus.
Yeah,
I think what he's going to do is just wait for that one Colossus to get there, warp in as many units as possible, move up the ramp and go for the kill. And as I say that, he goes back, so actually never mind.
They're doing whatever they want, man. At this point, it's...
These guys, man.
They've been fighting solidly for about 15 minutes, and now it's subsided a little bit.
Classic is mined out in his main. Quicker than PartinG.
Jeez. All right, well, 36 workers to 38. The income not looking too bright for either of them, as at least the Colossus is really going to help him out quite nicely. And also, he got +1 during all of this, did PartinG, which is very important when these engagements come along. If the two Immortals can try and get on top of that Colossus somehow, then great for Classic, but up until he has a better composition later, then it's not going to work out.
I mean, Classic just has no tech. The only thing he has going for him is that he started +2 earlier than PartinG, who hasn't started it. But I mean, Immortals against Colossi, not a pretty fight. And
another Oracle.
PartinG is not even taking a third. Like, PartinG should be the one taking the third with his lead. Classic should not be the one taking a third, because if he gets attacked, he's going to straight up die, Kylaris.
Yeah. And I don't think PartinG really has too many plans to do anything but go for an assault. He does have a probe over at the third base, actually, and Classic does not want to be out here. Of course, Blink Stalkers are useful to just poke in and to get an idea of what's going on, maybe even do with a little bit of contain. But for now, Classic is rocketing up in terms of the workers. If he gets his third base up and running, he will be in a good spot, but
what he needs is not
moving.
workers. He needs army. Army supply 79 to 51 in PartinG's favor. He's going to have Thermal Lance. He has the third Colossus on the way. Templar Archive is just...
And here comes the Oracle again!
Now.
The Oracle diving into a base that has no workers really at it, aside from the gas, but two Colossi are going to be able to do a lot of damage here, unless Classic gets a very, very good engagement angle. He already loses a few of his units even to begin with.
Oh, PartinG is so smart. He's just going to pull back, seeing that Classic was trying to get a good position.
Oh, losing the Immortal!
Getting pushed around, but this time it's from PartinG's force field.
Uh-oh. This is getting bleak here for Classic. He's 2 games down in this best of 5 if he's not able to find a way through. At this point, it's 83 worker supply to 52, as an Archon gets trapped at the front as well. Actually, not even technically trapped, can pull back, but he doesn't even do that anyway. This army not able to beat what PartinG has on the ground, and he dances again! PartinG knows he's able to push through. His army is far too strong. Another Colossus is going to be reinforcing soon, but those 2 force fields don't even matter at this point, as he builds a nexus behind all of this. Oh my god, PartinG! He knows he's been able to do it. 3-0 here in this PvP to start the day off. Kills the rest of the army. And what a game. What a series from PartinG to be able to push forward. Classics can't believe it. He refuses to leave the game. This is it. He dances again.
I don't think that Classic woke up today and told himself, I'm going to lose 0-3 with double proxy. I don't think it happens.
Colossus do what they do best, man. What a dance, what the damage, it's all good. There you go, GG. Well played. PartinG is able to advance onto the round of 4, 3-0. What a series. And what a way to end that game. Unbelievable. fight after fight after fight. The defense, he kept losing Immortals, but he kept on going. He kept defending. And unfortunately for Classic, he is eliminated here from the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei.
What a series, man. PartinG just showing why he's a superstar in and out of the game. Double proxy against a guy who's known to proxy himself. And in the last game, just a very solid defense and offense at the same time. This game was like the biggest slugfest that I've seen this year by far. Like, it was literally action everywhere, oracles flying into counterattack. It could have been even more of a slugfest, actually, if PartinG had sent some Zealots, across the map to attack here and there. But very, very nice series, and yeah, very good game by PartinG.
Crazy stuff. What a way to start this day here at the round of 8. And without further ado, let's head over to the analysis desk to hear their thoughts on this first series.
Thank you very much, James. I have some chills there in the third game as well from the commentary. Fantastic stuff from Kalaris and Todd. Back on the desk right now. Oof. Big, deep breath, gents, right now, because that was unbelievable by PartinG.
Yeah, it was super entertaining too. I was just looking over your shoulder there, and Classic was just sitting in his booth with his hands up like this, just like, what just happened? And it really was that type of series.
Yeah.
Well, let's break it down a little bit. Let's try and disseminate what we've just seen, because none of us thought this was going to be a 3-0. You all predicted PartinG to win, but I don't think any of you would have thought that it would have gone that way, surely, Maynard?
Did not think it would be the reckoning that it was, Paul. But actually, some of those games were quite close. Game 2 and 3 especially were very close.
Yeah.
That obviously, that one error with the Stalker being caught by the probe, I don't know how that happened, but Classic Stalker got caught, and obviously without the Stalker, you're not going to have that crucial unit to hold against that probe.
So let's go back and talk about map 1, okay? So we all said he could come out of the gate with some cheesy play, with some proxy play, and he did, and it worked beautifully for him. And Kevin made the point earlier on that if Classic didn't win that first map, that might just tilt him on the edge a little bit. Do you think that played its part in the game?
Well, I feel like game 2, he didn't play too well. He only had to focus on one thing, the Stalker. He felt a bit nervous in his micro. Maybe not. He should be used to playing on big stages, but PartinG's micro just was so much better in the games where it mattered. Also in the final game, I feel like Classic made a few questionable decisions with his blinks. Even sometimes if they did work out, I still felt it was questionable. And then when he went up to the main base, I think that was where he kind of lost the game. And in the second game, he lost the Stalker. In the first game, his micro wasn't on point, complete on point. Lost 2 probes to the first Zealot as well. So he felt a bit nervous in his control.
Yeah, second game could have gone either way, but for a bit of a mistake and a bit of inspired play at the same time from PartinG.
I mean, in game 2, it was rolling the dice. Both were rolling the dice. You go for proxies like this, you don't know what your opponent's going to do. And when it matches up against what we saw, it really can go either way, depending on what proxy you go for, blindly, of course.
Did you expect, having gone 1 down, did you expect Classic to react that way? Because we all said that before.
That was a big shock for me.
Yeah, he's going to play a little bit safer if he went 1 down. It was probably PartinG that would have done that if he'd gone 1 down.
And that's probably why it was such a weird game, because PartinG probably didn't think that would happen as well. And it's actually a very smart move there from Classic to do. I actually kind of like that move. Right. Because PartinG would usually take that 1-0 and feel comfortable with that, and then be like, all right, let me just slow it down again, take my lead, and then look for some different way to do it. But PartinG, as you said, that might happen as well, just wanted to end it really fast and go for it again. But the way that planned out, the dice went in Classic's favor. He had everything. He had the Stalker, I suppose, is everything. That is everything for him. And he had one job, and it was to look after that Stalker.
Absolutely.
It's a range unit. Everything else is melee. You just have to not get it surrounded by probes. And we all, when that happened, jumped up, screamed. I saw Carmack run around. He said, "What is happening?" The Stalker got surrounded. It wasn't meant to happen. It was like one of those type of moments. And Twitter exploded. And when that happened, you saw the emotions that Classic showed, and
I mean,
he was
even
defeated.
at the end of game 2, the contrast in the booths was absolutely palpable. You knew straight away that Classic was almost destroyed from those first.
He went into game 3 extremely tilted.
Apparently, we do have our winner. PartinG is with Susie on the stage, so let's check in with her.
I'm ready. All right, and here we are with the winner, the one and only PartinG, really. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Now feel very good because I lose. 예선에서 그 아시아나 파이널 쿼터 파이널이라고 퀄리파이어라고 해야 되나? 거기서 제가 졌거든요, 2대1로. 근데 좀 엄청 화나게 져가지고 그때 와 진짜 이거는 사람을 죽일 수도 있겠다. 그 정도에 진짜 옆에 있었으면 진짜 이거는 용서가 안 된다. 그 정도로 졌거든요 제가. 근데 이렇게 복수할 수 있어가지고 참 좋은 것 같아요.
He feels really good because when he lost in the Asia qualifiers, he said that he felt so bad, like he was ready to kill a man who was sitting next to him. He just wanted that revenge, and so it feels so good to be here and win. Okay, well, we're going to get into game number one. In game number one, when you proxied him, you chose a very specific location for that. What was the idea behind it?
Because he fucking noob. Because he never searched proxy gate or city base, so I think he's really noob. Maybe never search, so I can easy money and easy win. I get easy money and easy win.
Easy money, easy win, guys. Okay, well, then we're gonna move into game number two. You guys watched game number two. Can you just tell me your thought behind that? What were you thinking when you saw the stalker? I mean,
I feel I can't win this game, but he maybe noob. He 100% noob, so I believe I'm lucky guy. So he noob, so stuck or die. So I feel wow, unbelievable.
unbelievable indeed. You know, his stalker died, and because he was a noob, as he reiterated several times. Okay, before this game, you told me if you could beat Classic, you're pretty confident you're going to win this entire tournament. Are you still very confident about that?
I have confidence because I win live and Hyun easy peasy. So I think already final.
You think Zerg is easy peasy?
Yes, because only Cannon Rush and Immortal, choo, mother, father, easy.
Easy peasy, guys. Okay, well, we heard it from PartinG. Good luck. Maybe it will be easy peasy, and we will see you again soon. But for now, we're going to go back to the desk. To you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Susie. The indomitable PartinG there. Sorry about the swearing as well. It loses a little bit in translation. I think it means something completely different in Korean, but nevertheless, he's a character. We already know that, but if we needed any more confirmation, I think we just got it from that interview. Easy peasy, no problem at all.
Yeah, I think we can say goodbye to the MC days. It's all about PartinG nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he's describing the game. So it was unbelievable. He is an unbelievable. PartinG is such a character, and I'm sure he's making a lot more fans with these antics this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guarantee that.
I mean, let's just pay our respects to Classic, because it does feel a bit sort of, you know, in the words of Nathanius, Ripperino for him right now, because he got destroyed and it wasn't even close, really. I mean, 3-0. Everyone will look at the score and just go, what? How did Classic just get ruined like that? So where does he go from here?
Home, I guess.
Yeah, back to Korea, Paul. I don't know what to tell you.
See, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to repair some of the damage that's been done. But I mean, you know, PartinG calls him noob.
Yeah, several times.
But he's not. Yes,
Yeah.
but he's not. He's a great player.
That's just PartinG being PartinG. I mean, he plays StarCraft like how he is in real, as a person.
Yeah. In
game, he's a cheeky, aggressive, very confident player, and outside exactly the same. And I actually love that, and I respect that about PartinG, that he is that player in the game and out of the game. And he's obviously oozing confidence, but he's up. I don't think the finals is in the bag yet. I mean, sure, Immortal, choo-choo, pretty hard for Zerg, but this is, you know, he's expecting life, obviously, and life is a tough customer. I'm not sure it's just going to be that easy.
What do you think, Kev? Does the Soul Train run straight through the Zerg Central? Or
yeah.
It does?
Straight
I think so.
Okay. Straight through the Zerg.
Yeah.
Choo-choo.
3-0, 3-1.
€20 ticket, I heard.
If you know what I mean.
So, yeah, I mean, he's ultra confident against either Hyun or Life. I don't think he really cares which one he plays either. You put yourself in PartinG's shoes right now, looking at the way the brackets panned out and who you've got, are you thinking, yeah, actually, this looks all right?
Yeah, I think if I would be parting, I would be happy and I would be very careful because he danced a lot against Classic, then went over to shake his hand. I would not be sleeping too well tonight. Like, I was keeping one eye open for sure.
Yeah, very surprised Classic shook his hand at all.
He just went over there. That requires some big balls after dancing and putting down 2 Nexuses on the other side of the map.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
What do you think about that, Sean? Because I mean, as fans, as viewers, we kind of like that. We enjoy seeing that sort of showmanship and bravado, but it is BM, and Classic was obviously offended a little bit by that as well. So where do you stand on it?
I think it's, I mean, I guess Harson's the best to talk about this, but I think it's just a part of the game, really. It's,
I've seen him dancing those as well.
Well,
I've seen you dance.
In game?
Yeah.
Not too.
I've seen him dance out of game. I don't remember an in-game dance.
Not too much in game.
Do you think it's something that shouldn't happen?
I think if someone who was my friend did it, I would be very mad at them. If Todd would do it to me or someone I talk a lot with, I would be quite pissed at him.
You'd get over it pretty fast though as well, so.
Yeah.
Or would you?
Or would I? I'm not sure. No one ever did it to me.
I guess it kind of depends on the relationship that those two have as well, because they were former teammates. So, I mean, there's different ways to look at it, I suppose. And I think the former teammates is probably the best one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll head into our explosive second game of the day. As if that wasn't the perfect opening for you. PartinG crushing through Classic 3-0. And next up, it's the Battle of the Zergs. It's Hyun versus Life. It's coming next.